This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and we're going to continue on with the theme of the week, The Matrix. And so yesterday we spoke a little bit about the Lady in Red. I'm not going to sing it for you. Lady in Red. The day before was sort of introducing the Matrix as a whole and a concept. So today we're going to talk about the red pill, blue pill scene, which once again I'll put in the Facebook community group. Now, this has actually influenced there's a bunch of coaching that I do. I do webinars weekly. I run one-on-one coaching monthly, and then I do intensives basically. And so the whole idea of understanding what I've been taught over the years and learnt and then teach and all that sort of stuff as well around the truth, and then also understanding the hero's journey that's intertwined with something like the Matrix and what the Matrix is trying to show. My actual intensive is called the Red Pill Program, and so that's getting launched later this year, but there is a chance. I mentioned it in the last podcast, and I don't try and sell too much, but for those of you that are interested in learning a lot more about everything that we do teach, then I highly recommend you getting in touch, because I'm only going to open up to a couple of people, and it's going to be half price. It's 10 weeks leading into September before the Mood Prep Intensive or the Mood Prep Live weekend. Either way, if you're interested in finding out more about that, just get in contact with me either on the socials or through davenixon.com.au on a contact page. But the reason why I'm outlining that is because the red pill in the movie The Matrix, the red pill and the blue pill is a time where Morpheus finally meets Neo, and he goes on to say that if you're curious, you got a choice here. This is the fork in the road. You take the blue pill and you can stay asleep. You go back and everything's the same. Everything's fine. It's just grey and black and white and not really anything, but you're just, for the most part, plugged into the Matrix and you're safe. You're not really safe, by the way. The second one is a red pill. You take the red pill and I show you the truth, and we go down the rabbit hole, right? Which is the reference to Alice in Wonderland. Now, the interesting thing is that, and if you've listened to enough of my content, you'll hear me say that people don't talk the truth, they talk about their truth, because they're seeing the world through their reality. And we do have this, a bunch of filters in different ways that allow us to filter reality for so many different reasons, right? But the key thing in all of that is understanding that more often than not, we don't speak the truth, we speak our truth, or our truth, right? Our truth. Whereas when we're able to move into a witnessing space, just to awareness and not even to understand, just to be aware and to witness and to observe, that's where the truth actually is. When we start to judge it, when we start to put labels and so on and so forth, that's when we start to build constructs. It's it's a fascinating thing, and I hope I didn't jump too far ahead or too deep or miss anything at all. I'm sure some people get it, some people don't. I don't fucking know really, but the whole point there is understanding that the truth is just what the truth is. Another way to think about it is that the map is not the territory. And when we observe the territory, we create a map so we can understand it. But that's our map of reality. It's not reality. The map that you create in your mind of the territory isn't the territory. That kind of lands, you'll make sense. But either way, the red pill is to see the truth, to understand the truth, right? And that's where the Alice in Wonderland reference point is, and down the rabbit hole, right? And so the Alice in Wonderland is a quote, and this got, again, shared with me, I suppose, in the last probably 18 to 24 months, very abruptly, where they asked, somebody in particular asked me exactly what it is that I wanted to find out. And I said, I suppose there's a bunch of things, it was in reference to finding out which book I should read next, right? And he goes, well, he went on to tell a story. He's like in Alice in Wonderland with I think it's the tabby cat, and she goes, which road should I go down? And he's like, where would you like to go? And she's like, I don't really mind. Then he goes, then it doesn't matter which road you go down. What that's showing is that there's any road's fine. It depends on what you want. If you want something and it's clear, then go down a specific road, right? That's the Alice in Wonderland quote. It's the same thing for us. If we want something and we can make it clear, we can go down that road. It's not to say that it's going to be easy and void of challenges and difficulties. None of them are. but it's getting we're going through all the difficulties for a fucking reason. That's what people refer to as the why. And so when we're able to see that, then we can sort of change our understanding of reality to just go, at least I understand why I'm going through these difficulties, because this is the road that I've chosen to go down. Now, the reference also was a rabbit hole, and people like Julian from StrongFit talk about this a fair bit. You think about a rabbit warren, a rabbit hole, is that, and this is very much like the lives that we all live. That's like saying this rabbit hole's the best rabbit hole. It's like, why is it the best? And is it best based on what you think or what's going to be best for somebody else, right? And so the understanding is that we come and go, and maybe we separate at some stage, and maybe we come back together again, right? Maybe a group of us do, and then a group of us separate, and a couple go down one hole, and so on and so forth. But that's just the way life unfolds. We make decisions, and those decisions lead us down particular paths, neither good nor bad. But this is the whole idea of 100% accepting responsibility for our decisions. We might be scared, and so instead of saying, no, I'm not going to let you do that, we don't say anything, right? And what happens is that decision dictates the path that we go down, as opposed to standing up and going, no, I'm not going to do that. And standing for something, then we're choosing our path. The other way we chose our path, but we became a victim along the way. It's really quite interesting and fascinating stuff, but this rabbit hole really is the idea of pursuing our own truth to see the bigger truth, right? And the truth is void of judgment. Now, let's be clear, judgment isn't, an easy way to think of it is, we shouldn't judge people. It's like, well, that's not really probably the right way to think about it, because that's very judgmental of judgment. But the other idea of it is that, like, if I'm like, hey man, that's a really nice shirt, you're like, oh thanks man, that's judgment. You shouldn't judge. It's a compliment, but it's a fucking judgment based on my opinions and my preferences, or maybe I'm just trying to get you to like me, so that's why I'm saying it. I'm going to show you a judgment of mine that I think you'll like. Maybe you'll like me more, right? Or maybe you don't care, and maybe you're just saying it for the sake of saying it, right? Or maybe you've got a box to tick each day to give a kind compliment to a stranger. You're not giving a compliment then, you're just fucking ticking boxes. It's very different, right? And I'm not saying don't do that either, right? Go to choose your rabbit warren. But the whole point of that is going and understanding that when we can just observe and become aware, we move into this void of judgment. I had this conversation today with one of my coaches. It's about becoming aware, and then people go, but you could just, analyze and analyze and analyze. It's like, that's not awareness. Analyzing something is very different to awareness. We become aware of something and we accept it. That's not to analyze it, right? Think rather than psychoanalyze, think psycho-awareness. And when we can be in that space, what we truly sort of step into is just truly understanding that this is where I'm at, this is what I think, this is neither right nor wrong, and I just have a decision ahead of me to make. And I'm going to make that decision based on what's important for me right now, understanding that I'm simply a process and I'm unfolding. And so is the world. And so that's where we start to shift and understand that everything is a choice. To not make a decision is a decision. To not make a choice about what I'm going to do is a choice. Everything is a choice. There's things that happen to us, but we still played a role in putting ourselves in that position. And if you can grab any responsibility within that, as hard as it fucking is, right? As hard as it is, if you can find responsibility in that, then you can start moving towards what's actually fucking true, rather than in this space of fear and being this I don't know, as George Bernard Shaw put it, cot of ailments that just is grieving because the world won't give it what it wants. It's not going to give you anything. You have to define what you want, and then you choose the path. That's how it works. But on that note, team, I'm done. If you found this podcast beneficial, then it would mean the world to me. If you would pass it on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. If you want to get in touch about the Red Pill Project, then by all means, please get in touch with me either through any of the socials, DD Nix on Instagram. You can find me on Dave Nixon at Facebook, otherwise davenixon.com.au. It's going to start in about 2 weeks and run through to the end of September, which is when the Mood Prep Live weekend is. But on that note, team, I'm done. That is me out until tomorrow. Peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick and slay the motherfucking dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbright.